Hello viewer, we're in Nice in the south of France, ready for the Nice to Cannes marathon. This should be interesting. Once again, previous medical conditions mean I have a strange hip today, so hopefully we'll go alright, but we shall see. Not as easy as you'd think. It's a funny old thing, sport. You never really know how it's going to turn out. I'm now editing the video, and the more I look at it, the more I realise that on the day my head wasn't there. My normal jovial self was not running the marathon. I was getting it done. I know why. It's because I was seriously nervous about my hip. Literally 4 weeks before Nice Cannes, I hurt my right hip in training. Just the day after a long run, my hip hurt. I figured I would just stop running and give it a rest. A few days later, it still hurt. Days turned into weeks, turned into a month. And ultimately, I turned up on that morning of Nice Cannes, and I hadn't run one step since I'd hurt my hip 4 weeks previously. So I was quite nervous that my hip would start hurting after a couple of 100 meters, after 5k, after 10k, after 15k, at some point during the race, and I wouldn't be able to complete it. Strangely enough, Nice Cannes for me is quite a high pressure event. I've completed all 15 events. Of the, I guess, 100,000 people who've completed Nice Cannes, there's probably about 20 of us that have completed every single one. So, serious pressure here. If I don't complete it, that's the end of my personal record. Now, most years, the Athens Marathon is the same weekend as Nice Cannes, so obviously I can't do both. This year, Athens Marathon is 1 week after Nice Cannes, so this year I've signed up for both. And because we're going to be in Athens, we then signed up for a cruise around the Greek Isles. So if my hip starts to hurt during Nice Cannes, I might not finish the marathon. This would upset my record, obviously. It would also put in jeopardy the Athens Marathon next weekend, and it would also make my wife seriously unhappy if we're on a week's cruise of the Greek Isles and I can't walk. So there's quite a lot riding on this marathon. Hopefully it'll all go well.
Ouais, ils sont concentrés à gauche, hein. À droite, c'est un peu plus festif.
Allez, petit son, histoire de vous mettre un peu de rythme avec une parathlète là, qui part avec... oh là là, quelle courageuse. Allez, 42 km 195 sur cette magnifique...
Allez, on va aller loin.
Allez, c'est bon. Mais non, c'est bon.
'One thing I should mention, about 26 kilometers in, a guy came up to me and said, "Aren't you from YouTube?" At which point we slowed and we had a little chat, and he'd seen my previous videos of Nice Cannes Marathon, and he'd been inspired, and this was his very first marathon, and the reason he was doing the marathon was because he saw my video. I was very happy to see that. "30 kilometers. Not doing so well, but still going. That's the main thing." Kilometers. That was a struggle. Anyway, nearly finished.
Finisher, quelques mètres encore, il y a Sonia, bravo Sonia, mademoiselle, voilà, il était peut-être sur les genoux, ça m'a piqué, mais c'est bon, bravo, félicitations. Aro qui arrive juste derrière, qui termine également. Allez, mesdames et messieurs, restez avec nous dans 10 minutes, on va envahir cette finish line pour les derniers.
So that went pretty well. I finished Nice Cannes. I have my 16th finisher's medal. The record is still holding. My hip is still holding together. It wasn't a very fast time. In fact, it was a 5 hour, 40 minutes, worst ever sort of time. But I was very concerned about my hip. I really wanted to be very conservative and not push it. So I just jogged along, walked a little bit, jogged along, picked up the medal, happy to finish, very happy to finish. So hopefully we're all okay for next weekend's Athens Marathon. I will be making a video next week of the Athens Marathon and the cruise around the Greek Isles, So please like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with what happens next.